The moment I saw my daughter-in-law slip something into my wine, thinking I wasn't watching, that small white tablet dissolved instantly, and every instinct forged through decades of investigation awakened. She thought I was just an old man past his time, easy to fool. But the truth is that I am Marcus Cooper, once the most respected detective in this town, now retired yet sharper than ever. For 8 silent months, I collected files, recordings, and every detail she carelessly exposed. When everyone lifted their glasses at Tyler's birthday dinner, she never suspected I had already switched the drinks. I simply leaned back, slowly sipped my coffee, and watched her expression collapse the moment she tasted what she had tried to serve me. If you're watching this, subscribe and share your story with me, because I read every single one. This all started 18 months ago when I first began to notice something wasn't right. My wife had just passed away from cancer. I was in a daze, lost in grief, feeling vulnerable. And that's when Jennifer saw an opening. She thought my grief made me weak. What she didn't realize was that after 28 years in the police force, I'd learned one thing: always document everything and trust no one, no matter who they are. After Rebecca's funeral in March 2023, Jennifer started her psychological warfare immediately. I was standing in my kitchen 3 days after we buried my wife of 37 years, still wearing the same black suit, still unable to eat the casseroles neighbors had brought, still wondering how to exist without the woman who'd been my partner since I was 25 years old. Jennifer walked into my house without knocking. "Dad, we need to talk about Tyler's weekend visits," she announced, setting her coach purse on Rebecca's favorite chair. "What about them? Maybe they should be less frequent. You're dealing with a lot right now." I was dealing with grief, not mental incompetence, but Jennifer saw an opportunity. Over the next 3 months, she began planting seeds systematically. "Marcus seems overwhelmed," she told David after Tyler's overnight visit in April. "He forgot to give Tyler dinner until 8 p.m. Complete lie. I had photographic evidence of Tyler eating homemade mac and cheese at 6:15 p.m. because I'd started documenting everything the moment I sensed Jennifer's manipulation beginning. Dad's repeating the same stories, she mentioned to our neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, in May. Yesterday, he told Tyler about Rebecca's rose garden 3 times in one afternoon. Another fabrication. Tyler and I had spent that afternoon planting new roses, 3 different varieties, 3 separate conversations about 3 different topics. But Jennifer twisted natural grandfather-grandson bonding into evidence of cognitive decline. The first major escalation came during Tyler's school conference in June. Wilson, Tyler's second-grade teacher, pulled me aside after discussing his excellent progress. "Mr. Cooper, Tyler's mother mentioned some concerns about your health." My blood pressure spiked. "What kind of concerns?" "She said you've been having memory issues since your wife passed, forgetting conversations with Tyler, getting confused about dates and times." I pulled out my phone, showed Mrs. Wilson my meticulously maintained calendar app. Every visit with Tyler documented with photos, activities, exact timestamps. June 3rd, built a birdhouse, finished at 4:27 p.m. June 10th, watched Spider-Man movie. Tyler chose extra butter popcorn. June 17th, taught him to use my woodworking lathe, completed project at 3:45 p.m. Mrs. Wilson's expression changed completely. "Mr. Cooper, this doesn't look like someone with memory problems." "Because there aren't any memory problems. Jennifer is lying." That night, I called my former partner, Detective Sarah Martinez. "Sarah, I need a background check on Jennifer Cooper, maiden name Morrison, originally from Portland, Oregon." "Personal or professional?" "Both. I think my daughter-in-law is planning something that could hurt Tyler." The results arrived 48 hours later. Jennifer had pulled identical manipulation tactics with her previous boyfriend's family in Oregon. She'd systematically isolated him from his parents by claiming they were interfering with their relationship and undermining her authority as a stepmother. The relationship ended when the boyfriend discovered Jennifer had been intercepting phone calls and letters from his family for 8 months. But Jennifer was escalating faster this time. In July, she started telling people I was becoming obsessive about Tyler. She claimed I called their house constantly and showed up unannounced at inappropriate times. I had phone records proving 3 brief scheduled calls per week. I had my own security camera footage showing I hadn't made an unannounced visit since Rebecca's funeral. Jennifer was systematically rewriting reality. The second major warning sign came in August. Tyler mentioned during one of our weekend visits that his mom had been giving him sleepy medicine before bed. What kind of sleepy medicine, buddy? Little white pills. Mom says they help me not have bad dreams about Grandpa's house. Tyler had never had bad dreams about my house. He slept peacefully here, waking up excited for pancakes and cartoons. I took photos of Tyler sleeping soundly in the guest room, documented his cheerful morning behavior, recorded our conversations about how much he enjoyed our time together. Jennifer was medicating a healthy child to create artificial anxiety symptoms, but the most chilling discovery came when I found her job applications hidden in David's email trash folder. She'd been secretly applying for marketing positions in Portland since May, 6 months before she'd filed any custody concerns. Jennifer wasn't reacting to my supposed decline. She was manufacturing evidence to justify a move she'd already planned. Her timeline was simple: create a narrative of my unfitness as a grandfather, use that narrative to convince David that Tyler needed protection from me, then relocate the family 3,000 miles away where I'd have no practical access to my grandson. Tyler would grow up believing his grandfather was dangerous. David would believe Jennifer had saved their family from a mentally declining relative, and I'd be powerless to prove otherwise from 3,000 miles away. But Jennifer had made one crucial miscalculation. She assumed that grief had made me passive and vulnerable. Instead, grief had made me methodical, careful, and absolutely determined to protect the only family Rebecca and I had left. I started building a case against Jennifer with the same precision I'd once used to put criminals in prison. By September, I had 63 hours of recorded conversations, 47 instances of documented lies, and a complete timeline of her manipulation campaign. Jennifer thought she was outsmarting a broken old man. She was actually providing evidence to a career detective who specialized in building airtight cases against people who hurt children. On September 1st, everything crystallized into absolute clarity. I received certified mail from Riverside County Family Court Services. Jennifer had officially filed for a custody evaluation, requesting supervised visitation only between Tyler and myself. The paperwork detailed her allegations. Grandfather shows signs of cognitive decline, memory loss, and potentially dangerous behavior around minor child. Recent incidents include confusion about dates, repetitive conversations, and inappropriate emotional responses to normal family situations. Every single allegation was fabricated, but Jennifer had calculated her timing perfectly. The evaluation was scheduled for September 22nd, exactly 1 week after Tyler's birthday party. She needed one final piece of dramatic evidence to seal her case. The filing fee for the custody evaluation was $2,800. Money I'd pay without hesitation, because losing Tyler wasn't negotiable. But attached to Jennifer's petition were documents that revealed the scope of her deception. She'd already accepted a position as marketing coordinator at Pacific Northwest Creative in Portland, Oregon. Salary $72,000 annually, plus $5,000 in relocation assistance. Start date October 15th. She'd placed deposits on a 3-bedroom rental house on Cedar Avenue in Portland's Westmoreland neighborhood. Monthly rent $2,400. Security deposit $4,800, paid in full. She'd enrolled Tyler in Selwood Middle School for the fall semester. Registration fee $350. School supplies and uniforms $625. She'd scheduled appointments with Portland pediatricians, dentists, and child psychologists to establish Tyler's new support network. All of this planning had occurred before she'd filed a single custody concern. Jennifer wasn't requesting the evaluation to protect Tyler. She was manufacturing legal justification for a move she'd already committed to financially. If I remained silent and let this process continue, Here's exactly what I would lose: Tyler's entire childhood development. At 8 years old, Tyler was at the perfect age to learn family history, develop his interests in woodworking and engineering, and build the kind of grandfather grandson relationship that would anchor him through adolescence and adulthood. Rebecca and I had planned to teach him about his great grandfather's military service, his great grandmother's career as a school principal, and the values that had guided our family for 3 generations. Jennifer wanted to erase all of that history. Every weekend tradition Tyler and I had built since Rebecca's death. Saturday morning pancakes, where Tyler learned to crack eggs without breaking the yolks. Sunday afternoon movie marathons, where we watched classic films Rebecca had loved. Evening walks through the neighborhood where Tyler practiced riding the bike I'd bought him for his 7th birthday. These weren't just activities. They were the foundation of our relationship and Tyler's sense of belonging in a family that extended beyond his immediate parents. My practical ability to remain connected to Tyler's major life events, school plays, birthday parties, graduation ceremonies, sports games. From 3,000 miles away, I'd become a Christmas card grandfather instead of an active presence in Tyler's daily life. But the stakes were bigger than my personal loss: Tyler's emotional stability and sense of family security. Dr. Stevens, our family physician, had documented the positive impact of our relationship on Tyler's development. Tyler's stress markers are consistently lower after weekends with his grandfather, Dr. Stevens had noted in Tyler's medical file. The relationship appears to provide emotional stability and male role modeling that supports healthy development. Jennifer was planning to sever a relationship that was actually beneficial for Tyler's well-being. Tyler's protection from Jennifer's increasingly manipulative behavior. My investigation had revealed that she'd been giving Tyler children's sleep medication for anxiety on nights when he was supposed to visit me. Tyler didn't have anxiety about visiting me. He had anxiety about disappointing his mother by enjoying time with his grandfather too much. Jennifer was medicating a healthy child to support her false narrative. Most critically, Tyler's safety from a mother who was willing to drug family members to achieve her goals. If Jennifer would slip medication into my drink to create false evidence, what else was she capable of? What other manipulation tactics might she use against Tyler as he grew older and potentially questioned her control? The custody evaluation would cost me financially, but Jennifer's plan would cost Tyler his entire extended family connection. The evaluation timeline revealed Jennifer's desperation. She needed dramatic evidence by September 22nd to convince the court-appointed psychologist that I posed a genuine threat to Tyler's well-being. Something public, something witnessed, something that would make me appear genuinely unstable or dangerous. Tyler's birthday party was the perfect setting. Jennifer had invited Tyler's teacher, our family doctor, and several neighbors who'd heard her stories about my decline. She was counting on their shocked testimony about my erratic behavior to seal her case. But Jennifer had made a fundamental error in her planning. She'd invited witnesses who actually knew me, not just witnesses who'd heard her lies. Mrs. Wilson had seen my detailed documentation of Tyler's visits. Dr. Stevens had Tyler's medical records showing no anxiety symptoms related to me. Detective Martinez, who Jennifer didn't know was coming, had access to my complete background and character references. Jennifer was setting up a confrontation where the witnesses would actually support my credibility, not hers. She just didn't know it yet. The real question wasn't whether I could stop her plan. The question was whether I could do it without traumatizing Tyler in the process. Because protecting Tyler meant protecting him from seeing his mother arrested at his 8th birthday party. But allowing Jennifer to continue meant losing Tyler forever. The choice was clear. The execution would require everything I'd learned in 28 years of police work. Jennifer wanted a public incident to prove I was unfit. I was about to give her a public incident that proved she was a criminal. 2 weeks before Tyler's birthday party, Jennifer launched her final manipulation campaign with surgical precision. She started with Tyler's school, calling Mrs. Wilson directly. "I'm concerned about Tyler's emotional state after visiting his grandfather. Jennifer said, using her most worried mother voice. He's been having nightmares. Mrs. Wilson, who genuinely cared about Tyler's well-being, took detailed notes. What kind of nightmares? He wakes up saying he feels scared. He won't tell me specifics, but the timing always corresponds with weekends at Marcus's house. Complete fabrication. Tyler had spent the previous weekend with David at a baseball game in Anaheim, not with me, but Jennifer was counting on Mrs. Wilson not tracking the exact timeline. Has Tyler mentioned feeling unsafe with his grandfather? Not directly. 8-year-olds don't always have words for complex emotions, but his behavior changes after those visits. More clingy, more anxious, less willing to sleep in his own room. I knew this was psychological manipulation because Tyler consistently slept through the night in my guest room. He'd wake up refreshed and excited for Saturday morning pancakes, but Jennifer was building a paper trail. Next, she targeted our neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, who'd been friends with Rebecca for 15 years. I'm worried about Marcus, Jennifer confided during a chance encounter at the grocery store. Yesterday, he called Tyler by Rebecca's name 3 times. Mrs. Henderson was immediately concerned. Oh my goodness, is he getting professional help? We're encouraging him to see someone, but you know how prideful men can be about admitting they need help. Another complete lie. I'd never called Tyler by Rebecca's name, and Jennifer knew it. But Mrs. Henderson would repeat this story to other neighbors, expanding Jennifer's network of false witnesses. The escalation intensified when Jennifer contacted Dr. Stevens' office directly. I need to speak with Dr. Stevens about my father-in-law's behavior around my son, she told the receptionist. There have been some concerning incidents. Dr. Stevens called me immediately. Marcus, Jennifer Cooper contacted my office about Tyler's well-being. She's claiming there are safety concerns related to your mental state. What kind of concerns? Memory loss, confusion about dates, inappropriate emotional responses. She's requesting Tyler's medical records to document anxiety symptoms. Dr. Stevens, you've seen Tyler after every weekend he spends with me. Have you observed any anxiety symptoms? Actually, the opposite. Tyler's stress markers consistently improve after he spends time with you. Then why would Jennifer claim otherwise? That's what I'm wondering. Marcus, is there something going on in your family that I should know about? I explained Jennifer's planned move to Portland and her systematic campaign to discredit me. Dr. Stevens was quiet for a long moment. Marcus, what Jennifer is describing sounds like parental alienation syndrome. She's creating false evidence to justify severing Tyler's relationship with you. Will you provide written documentation of Tyler's actual emotional state? Absolutely. And Marcus, be very careful. People who manipulate children's medical information are capable of more serious deception. The warning proved prophetic. 1 week before the party, Jennifer made her most brazen move yet. She called Detective Martinez directly at the police station. I need to report concerning behavior by a retired police officer, she told Sarah. Marcus Cooper. He's my father-in-law. Sarah nearly laughed. Ma'am, I've worked with Marcus Cooper for 19 years. What exactly is concerning you? He's been following me, watching our house, making threatening phone calls. When did this alleged behavior occur? Tuesday evening, he drove past our house 3 times between 6 and 7 p.m. Thursday morning, he was parked across from Tyler's school during pickup. Sarah checked her dispatch records. Tuesday evening, I'd been at the dentist for a root canal procedure from 5:30 to 7:15 p.m. Thursday morning, I'd been grocery shopping at Vaughn's, with credit card receipts to prove it. Ma'am, are you filing a formal complaint? Not yet. I just wanted to establish a record in case his behavior escalates. Ms. Cooper, making false reports to police is a misdemeanor. Are you certain about the accuracy of your statements? Jennifer's voice wavered. Well, maybe I was mistaken about the exact times. Sarah hung up and called me immediately. Marcus, your daughter-in-law just tried to create a false police record against you. She's claiming stalking and harassment. Everything she described is disprovable. I have receipts, timestamps, witnesses. I know. That's what makes this dangerous. She's not just lying to family members anymore. She's attempting to manipulate official records. What does that tell you about her escalation pattern? It tells me she's desperate and running out of time. People who make false police reports are preparing for something bigger. Sarah was right. Jennifer's timeline was accelerating because her Portland job started in 4 weeks. She needed dramatic evidence at Tyler's birthday party to justify emergency relocation. The final escalation came 3 days before the party when Tyler mentioned something during our Thursday afternoon phone call. Grandpa, Mom gave me special medicine last night. What kind of special medicine, buddy? Little white pills. She said they'll help me feel calmer during your party. My heart rate spiked. Did the medicine make you feel different? Sleepy, but Mom said that's normal. Jennifer was premedicating Tyler to make him appear anxious and withdrawn during the birthday celebration. She was drugging her own child to create false evidence against me. That night, I made final preparations for Saturday's confrontation. I tested my recording equipment one last time. Digital audio recorder in my shirt pocket, backup device hidden in the kitchen, both legal and admissible in court. I confirmed that Detective Martinez would attend the party to wish Tyler happy birthday. She'd arrive in civilian clothes at 4 p.m., just as Jennifer's plan would be reaching its climax. I arranged for additional witnesses to attend. Dr. Stevens and his wife, Mr. Patterson from next door, who'd heard Jennifer's lies about my nighttime behavior, Mrs. Rodriguez from Tyler's soccer team, who'd seen our normal grandfather-grandson interactions. Jennifer thought she was inviting sympathetic witnesses to observe my decline. She was actually assembling a jury to watch her own criminal behavior. Most importantly, I prepared mentally for the moment when Jennifer would make her final move. Because after 2 weeks of watching her escalate from lies to false police reports to medicating Tyler, I knew she was capable of anything. The question wasn't whether Jennifer would try to drug me at the party. The question was how dramatically her plan would backfire when she drank the evidence herself. The week before Tyler's party, I made my final preparations with the methodical precision of a career detective. Jennifer had no idea she was walking into a carefully constructed evidence collection operation. Tuesday morning, I visited Murphy's camera shop on Main Street. I need professional-grade surveillance equipment, I told owner Jim Murphy, something that records in 4K with courtroom-quality audio. Security concerns? Evidence preservation. Jim showed me a Sony FX3 camera system. This records in ultra-high definition with audio clear enough for legal proceedings. Cost is $3,800. And I bought it immediately, along with wireless microphone systems and backup storage drives. Jennifer knew I had old camera equipment in the house from Rebecca's photography hobby. She assumed the new equipment was just another widower's attempt to preserve memories. She had no idea I was preparing to document her criminal behavior. Wednesday afternoon, I met Detective Martinez at our usual coffee spot. To Jennifer, our weekly meetings looked like social visits between an old cop and his former partner. Sweet, she'd told David. Your dad is maintaining friendships during his grief. What Jennifer didn't know was that Sarah and I were coordinating a law enforcement response. The surveillance equipment is positioned perfectly, I told Sarah over coffee. Kitchen, living room, and front entrance. Multiple angles on wherever she might make her move. And you're certain she'll try something at the party? Her Portland job starts in 3 weeks. The custody evaluation is next Friday. She's running out of time. Marcus, what if she brings the drug drink instead of spiking yours at the party? Then I'll still have evidence of premeditated intent to drug a family member. Sarah nodded. Either way, she's committing felony assault with witnesses, including a police detective who just happens to be at the party for birthday cake. Tyler invited me personally. I couldn't refuse an 8-year-old's birthday invitation. Thursday evening, I received the final piece of documentation I needed. Dr. Stevens delivered my complete neurological evaluation results. 12 pages of cognitive tests, memory assessments, and psychological evaluations. Patient demonstrates cognitive function at the 94th percentile for his age group, Dr. Stevens had written. No evidence of dementia, memory impairment, or mental decline. Patient shows excellent recall, logical reasoning, and emotional stability despite recent bereavement. I locked the report in my desk drawer, right next to 8 months of recorded evidence against Jennifer. Friday afternoon, Mrs. Wilson stopped by to drop off Tyler's birthday present. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, she said. Tyler's been excited about this party for weeks. He loves celebrations. Mr. Cooper, can I mention something confidential? Of course. Jennifer has expressed concerns about your health, but honestly, you seem sharper than most people half your age. Mrs. Wilson had 24 years of experience teaching children. She knew when adults were lying about kids' well being. Mrs. Wilson, tomorrow you might see something that surprises you. When you do, remember that everything happens for Tyler's protection. What kind of surprise? The kind that shows why some people can't be trusted around children. Friday evening, I made final equipment checks. The Sony camera was positioned perfectly behind Rebecca's old vase collection, capturing the entire kitchen area where Jennifer would likely make her move. The wireless microphones were tested and recording. Audio quality was crystal clear from 15 feet away. My backup recording device was charged and ready in my shirt pocket. Most importantly, I'd prepared Tyler's actual birthday present, a photo album documenting every happy moment he and Rebecca had shared together. Jennifer wanted to steal Tyler's memories of family love. I was preserving them permanently. That night, I sat in Rebecca's reading chair, looking at Tyler's wrapped presents on the coffee table. A Lego architecture Statue of Liberty set, a beginner's woodworking kit with safety tools, books about famous detectives that Tyler had requested. Jennifer's plan would eliminate all future birthday celebrations between Tyler and me. No more gifts chosen specifically for his interests. No more grandfather-grandson traditions. But Jennifer had made one critical error in her timeline. She'd assumed I would be a passive victim of her manipulation. Instead, I'd spent 8 months building the kind of airtight criminal case that had earned me commendations during my police career. Jennifer thought she was attending Tyler's birthday party. She was actually walking into her arrest. The only question left was whether she'd have enough time to incriminate herself completely before Detective Martinez took her into custody. Tomorrow would answer that question permanently. Saturday, September 15th, 2:30 p.m. Tyler's Spider-Man decorations transformed my living room into a superhero headquarters. Red and blue streamers, web-patterned tablecloth, a chocolate cake with blue frosting that Tyler had specifically requested from Baskin-Robbins. Cost $93.47. Worth every penny to see Tyler's excitement. I'd positioned myself strategically throughout the setup. Kitchen counter gave me clear sightlines to the living room. Sony camera captured everything from multiple angles. Audio equipment tested and recording. Jennifer arrived at 2:45 p.m. carrying her oversized Coach tote and wearing her best devoted mother smile. "Dad, everything looks perfect," she said, setting her purse carefully on the kitchen counter. "Tyler's going to be thrilled." She was nervous. Her usual confidence had an edge of desperation. "Wine?" I offered, gesturing to the bottle of Cabernet I'd opened, Rebecca's favorite brand. "That would be lovely." I poured 2 glasses, identical size, identical wine, placed side by side on the counter. Jennifer positioned herself casually near her purse. Her hand brushed against something inside while she made conversation about Tyler's excitement. "David's parking the car with Tyler," she said. "He wanted to make a grand entrance. He's a good kid. The best. That's why I worry sometimes about his emotional development." Here it comes. Worry how? Children need stability, consistent environments. When there are too many variables in their lives, it can affect their sense of security. What kind of variables? Jennifer reached into her purse, withdrew her phone to check a message. Her hand came back out holding something small and white. A tablet, small enough to hide in her palm. Variables like spending time in environments where adults might not be at their sharpest, where memory issues or confusion could create anxiety for a sensitive child. She was setting up her narrative while holding the weapon. "Jennifer, my memory is fine." "Of course it seems fine to you. That's how these things work. The person experiencing decline often doesn't recognize it themselves." She moved closer to the wine glasses, continuing her psychological manipulation. "Tyler mentioned some concerning things after his last visit. Stories that didn't quite make sense. Confusion about what you'd done together." Complete lies. Tyler's last visit had been 2 weekends ago. We'd built a model airplane and watched documentaries about World War II pilots. Tyler could describe every detail accurately, but Jennifer was creating justification for what she was about to do. The front door burst open. Tyler ran in wearing his new Spider-Man shirt, followed by David carrying additional presents. "Grandpa!" Tyler launched himself into my arms. "Can we start the party now?" "After everyone arrives, buddy. We're expecting special guests." Jennifer's smile tightened. She hadn't wanted additional witnesses beyond her carefully selected neighbors. "Who else is coming?" "Mrs. Wilson from Tyler's school, Dr. Stevens and his wife. Detective Martinez promised to stop by for cake." I watched Jennifer recalculate her timeline. More witnesses meant more opportunity for me to embarrass myself publicly, but it also meant less control over the narrative. Additional guests arrived within minutes. Mrs. Wilson carrying a wrapped astronomy book, Dr. Stevens with his wife and a science experiment kit, Mr. and Mrs. Patterson from next door. The living room filled with genuine well-wishers who'd watched Tyler grow up. Jennifer's plan required witnesses, but she'd wanted manageable witnesses. People who'd nod sympathetically when I acted confused. Instead, she faced Tyler's teacher, our family doctor, and neighbors who'd known me for decades. "Dad, you should sit down," Jennifer suggested. "You've been working so hard on this party preparation." "I feel fine. Still, at your age, it's important to pace yourself. Let me refresh your wine." This was it. Jennifer moved toward the counter where our wine glasses sat. She positioned herself between me and the other guests, her back to the Sony camera, her movements hidden from direct view. I watched her hand move to her purse one final time. Small white tablet. Same size as children's sleep medication. She dropped it into the wine glass closest to her, stirred quickly with her finger. The tablet dissolved completely in 18 seconds. "Here you go, Dad. Nice fresh wine." She handed me the glass, containing dissolved medication. 28 years of detective work had taught me to watch hands, not expressions. Jennifer's confident smile couldn't hide the slight tremor in her fingers. "Thank you, Jennifer. Very thoughtful." I accepted the drugged glass naturally. No suspicion, no resistance. "Should we gather everyone for presents?" she asked. "Perfect idea. Let me just grab something from the kitchen first." I walked to the counter carrying my drugged wine. Jennifer followed, engaging Mrs. Wilson in conversation about Tyler's school performance. While Jennifer's attention was divided between multiple conversations, I executed the switch. Her wine glass sat exactly where she'd left it. Cabernet Sauvignon, same temperature, identical appearance. I poured my drugged wine down the sink disposal, refilled my glass with fresh wine from the bottle, placed Jennifer's original glass in the exact position where mine had been. The switch took 12 seconds. Jennifer never noticed. "Okay, everyone," I announced, returning to the living room. "Tyler's ready for his presents." We gathered in a circle around Tyler, who sat cross-legged on the carpet, surrounded by wrapped packages. "Before we start," I said, raising my wine glass, "I want to make a toast." Everyone lifted their drinks. Jennifer raised her glass confidently, expecting me to display confusion or disorientation within minutes. "To Tyler, on his 8th birthday, and to family members who would do anything to protect the people they love." "Cheers!" everyone called out. I took a small sip of fresh wine. Jennifer drank deeply from her glass, the glass that had originally been mine. The glass she thought contained no medication. Except Jennifer had made one crucial miscalculation. While she was focused on drugging my wine, she'd failed to notice that I'd already prepared something special for her glass. Earlier that morning, I'd dissolved 3 tablets of the same children's sleep medication Jennifer had been giving Tyler. The same medication I'd found in her purse during previous visits. Jennifer had drugged herself with her own weapon, using her own plan, following her own timeline. She just didn't realize it yet. "Present time," Tyler shouted. We spent 25 minutes opening gifts. The Lego Statue of Liberty was a massive hit. The woodworking kit sparked conversations about future projects we'd build together. At 3:47 p.m., Jennifer yawned slightly. "Excuse me, long week at work?" At 4:05 p.m., she rubbed her eyes. "This wine is stronger than I expected." At 4:18 p.m., Detective Martinez arrived in civilian clothes, carrying a gift bag. "Happy birthday, Tyler," Sarah called out cheerfully. Jennifer tried to stand to greet her properly. Her balance wavered almost imperceptibly. "Are you feeling all right?" Mrs. Wilson asked with genuine concern. "Just tired. Maybe I should sit back down." Jennifer's own medication was beginning to work exactly as intended. The same sleep aid she'd been using to make Tyler compliant. The same substance she'd planned to use as evidence against me. But instead of creating proof of my incompetence, Jennifer was about to provide irrefutable evidence of her own criminal behavior in front of a police detective, a teacher, a physician, and multiple neighbors. Jennifer had planned her perfect crime. She was about to commit it against herself, with professional law enforcement standing by to document everything. At 4:29 p.m., Jennifer's condition became undeniably obvious. "David," she mumbled, gripping the arm of her chair with white knuckles. "Something's wrong. I feel dizzy." Dr. Stevens immediately set down his coffee and moved to her side. "Jennifer, when did this start?" "Just now. Maybe 15 minutes ago. I was fine, then suddenly—" She tried to stand. Her legs weren't responding normally. "I think I need to go home." Tyler looked up from his Lego project, sensing adult tension. "Mom, are you sick?" "Mommy just needs some air, sweetie," Jennifer said, her speech beginning to slur slightly. "Keep playing with your toys." Detective Martinez stepped closer, her training kicking in despite the social setting. "Mrs. Cooper, have you taken any medication today?" "No, nothing, just wine." Jennifer's coordination was failing. Maybe the wine was too strong. Sarah exchanged a meaningful glance with me. She could see the signs of pharmaceutical impairment. "Mrs. Cooper, I'm going to need you to stay seated while we figure out what's happening." "I don't need to stay seated. I need to leave." But Jennifer's body was betraying her words. She couldn't stand without support. Dr. Stevens knelt beside her chair. "Can you tell me your full name and today's date?" "Jennifer Cooper. It's September, Tyler's birthday." "What year?" Long pause. Her cognitive processing was slowing dramatically. 2024? Mrs. Wilson gasped softly. This was exactly the kind of cognitive confusion Jennifer had been claiming about me for months. "David," Jennifer whispered urgently, "get Tyler and take him home. Something's not right here." But David was staring at his wife with growing alarm. "Jen, you've been tired all week. When did you last see a doctor?" Detective Martinez had seen enough. "Mr. Cooper," she said formally, addressing me, "I think we need to have a conversation." The room fell silent. Even Tyler stopped playing with his Legos. "Everyone," I said calmly, "I need to explain what's happening here." Dr. Stevens looked puzzled. Mrs. Wilson appeared concerned. David seemed completely lost. For 8 months, Jennifer has been lying about my mental health. She's told people I have memory problems, cognitive decline, and behavioral issues that make me dangerous around Tyler. "Dad, what are you talking about?" David asked. "She's been planning to move you and Tyler to Portland permanently. She's already accepted a job, enrolled Tyler in school, and put deposits on housing, all without telling you." I pulled out my phone and accessed my documentation app. "Jennifer, do you remember this conversation from September 10th? I played audio of Jennifer coaching Tyler. "Remember, if anyone asks how you feel at Grandpa's house, say sometimes you feel a little scared, okay?" The room erupted in shocked murmurs. Mrs. Wilson stared at Jennifer. "You coached Tyler to lie about feeling unsafe?" Jennifer tried to focus, but the medication was overwhelming her cognitive function. "I was protecting Tyler." "From what?" Dr. Stevens demanded. "From Marcus's decline. He's not safe around children." Detective Martinez pulled out her badge and identification. "Mrs. Cooper, I'm Detective Sarah Martinez, LAPD. I've known Marcus Cooper professionally for 19 years. What evidence do you have of any decline?" "He forgets things, repeats stories, gets confused about dates." I played another recording. Jennifer telling Mrs. Wilson that I'd repeated the same story to Tyler 4 times in one afternoon. Then I showed my calendar documentation. I hadn't seen Tyler that week. She was fabricating evidence. David stared at his wife in horror. "Jen, you told me Dad called Tyler 12 times in one day asking the same questions." I displayed my phone records. 3 calls that week, all brief, all normal, and the systematic deception was unfolding before everyone's eyes. Mrs. Cooper, Detective Martinez said with professional authority, I've been monitoring reports you filed about Mr. Cooper. Claims of stalking, harassment, and threatening behavior. What reports? Jennifer's speech was becoming more slurred. Reports that investigations showed were completely false. You attempted to create fraudulent police records to support your custody case. I pulled out Jennifer's complete file. 8 months of evidence. Portland job offer, signed September 1st. Rental house deposit, $4,800. Tyler's school enrollment completed August 23rd. All arranged before filing any custody concerns about me. David read the documents with growing shock. Jen, you accepted a job in Portland without telling me? Jennifer couldn't respond coherently anymore. The sleep medication had progressed beyond simple drowsiness into serious cognitive impairment. Mr. Cooper, Mrs. Wilson said, understanding dawning. The custody evaluation Jennifer mentioned, is that real? Scheduled for next Friday. Jennifer needed dramatic evidence of my unfitness before then. Detective Martinez was already putting pieces together. She planned to use today's party to create that evidence. Except, Dr. Stevens observed, she's the one displaying cognitive impairment. I gestured toward the kitchen. Because she drugged the wrong wine glass. The room fell completely silent. What do you mean? David whispered. I watched Jennifer put medication in my wine. It's recorded on multiple cameras, but I switched our glasses while she was distracted. Detective Martinez stepped forward. Are you saying Mrs. Cooper attempted to drug you? I'm saying she succeeded in drugging herself with her own weapon. I handed Dr. Stevens the prescription bottle I'd taken from Jennifer's purse. Children's sleep aid. The same medication she's been giving Tyler for fabricated anxiety symptoms. Mrs. Wilson looked horrified. Tyler doesn't have anxiety. He's one of my happiest students. Exactly. Jennifer has been medicating a healthy child to support her false narrative about my unfitness. Detective Martinez pulled out her handcuffs. Jennifer Cooper, you're under arrest for attempted assault with a controlled substance, child endangerment, and conspiracy to commit elder abuse. Wait, David shouted. This is insane. You can't arrest her at Tyler's birthday party. David, I said gently, your wife planned to drug me in front of your son. She's been poisoning Tyler with unnecessary medication for months. She's been filing false police reports to frame me as dangerous. I handed him the complete evidence file. Job applications, medical records, recorded conversations, surveillance footage. She's been planning this for 8 months. David read through the documentation, his face growing pale with each page. Jen, this says you've been giving Tyler sleep medication 3 times a week. He doesn't have sleep problems. Jennifer tried to respond, but was nearly unconscious from the medication overdose she'd given herself. Detective Martinez was already on her radio. Dispatch, I need paramedics and backup units at 247 Oak Street. Medical emergency and felony arrest. Mrs. Cooper, she announced formally, you're being arrested on suspicion of attempted drugging, child endangerment through unauthorized medication, filing false police reports, and conspiracy to commit custody fraud. The paramedics arrived within 6 minutes. They quickly assessed Jennifer's condition and confirmed pharmaceutical intoxication. What substance? The lead paramedic asked. Dr. Stevens handed them the medication bottle. Diphenhydramine, likely 75 to 90 milligrams based on symptom presentation. We'll need blood samples for evidence, Detective Martinez told them. As Jennifer was loaded onto the stretcher, she made one final attempt at manipulation. David, she whispered weakly, don't believe this. Marcus drugged me. He's dangerous. Protect Tyler. But David had seen the evidence, heard the recordings, watched his wife drug herself while attempting to frame his father. Jen, you've been lying to me about everything for 8 months. Detective Martinez handed David her card. Mr. Cooper, we'll need complete statements from all witnesses. This will result in multiple felony charges. Tyler came over to me as the ambulance departed. Grandpa, where did Mom go? I knelt to his level. Mom got sick and had to go to the hospital. The doctors will take good care of her. Can we finish my birthday party? Absolutely, buddy. We still have cake and more presents. Mrs. Wilson squeezed my shoulder. Mr. Cooper, I'm so sorry I believed Jennifer's stories about your decline. She's very convincing. That's what made her dangerous. Detective Martinez was documenting the scene with professional thoroughness. Marcus, this is textbook premeditated assault. The district attorney will pursue maximum charges. The status reversal was complete. From declining widower to decorated detective who exposed a criminal conspiracy. From potentially dangerous grandfather to protective family member who saved a child from abuse. From victim of manipulation to professional investigator with irrefutable evidence. Jennifer's elaborate plan had backfired perfectly. Instead of destroying me, she destroyed herself. With witnesses, with documentation, with law enforcement present to ensure justice. 28 years of police work had taught me that the best criminals always defeat themselves. Jennifer had just proven that lesson with mathematical precision. The investigation moved with professional efficiency. Detective Martinez coordinated with additional officers to process my house as a crime scene. They photographed the drugged wine glass, documented the medication bottle from Jennifer's purse, and secured my surveillance equipment as evidence. Marcus, this is one of the cleanest cases I've seen in 19 years, Sarah told me while supervising evidence collection. Premeditated assault, caught on camera, with multiple witnesses, including law enforcement. Dr. Stevens remained to provide medical consultation. The blood samples will confirm dosage levels, but based on Jennifer's symptoms, she consumed between 75 and 90 milligrams of diphenhydramine. That's 3 to 4 times the recommended adult dose. Is that dangerous? David asked, still processing the reality of his wife's arrest. Potentially lethal in combination with alcohol. It's definitely enough to cause severe disorientation, memory loss, and complete cognitive impairment. Exactly what she intended to inflict on your father. The irony was devastating and perfect. Mrs. Wilson had stayed to help with Tyler, but she was also serving as a crucial witness. Mr. Cooper, I need to formally apologize. Jennifer's concerns seemed so genuine, so detailed. She's been practicing manipulation for years, Mrs. Wilson. This wasn't her first attempt to destroy someone's family relationships. I showed her Detective Martinez's background investigation. Portland police have files on similar behavior with a previous boyfriend's family, pattern of isolation, false medical claims, custody manipulation. Mrs. Wilson shook her head in disgust. And I helped spread her lies about your mental state. You were protecting Tyler based on information you believed was accurate. That's exactly what good teachers do. Within 90 minutes, my house had been thoroughly documented as evidence. Tyler's birthday party had transformed into a criminal investigation, but Tyler himself remained happily occupied with his new Lego set, unaware of the legal machinery grinding into motion around him. Detective Martinez returned with official paperwork and her supervisor, Lieutenant Patricia Rodriguez. The charges are extensive, Lieutenant Rodriguez announced. Attempted assault with intent to administer a controlled substance without consent. Child endangerment through unauthorized medication of a minor. Conspiracy to commit elder abuse through false evidence creation. Filing multiple false police reports. Evidence tampering related to family court proceedings. David looked devastated. What happens to Tyler? Temporary custody remains with you, Mr. David Cooper. However, given Mrs. Jennifer Cooper's behavior pattern, Child Protective Services will require supervised visitation only for any future contact with the minor. The doorbell rang. My attorney, James Patterson, had received my emergency message and arrived with his briefcase and recording equipment. Marcus, this exceeds every expectation we discussed, James said after reviewing the evidence. Jennifer didn't just threaten to create false evidence. She actually attempted the crime on camera in front of a police officer. What does this mean for the custody evaluation? The evaluation becomes irrelevant. Jennifer's arrest eliminates her standing to challenge your grandparent rights. You'll likely receive enhanced visitation privileges, possibly including overnight custody when David needs support. James turned to David. Son, you need independent legal representation immediately. Jennifer's actions could implicate you in child endangerment charges if you're found to have known about Tyler's unauthorized medication. I didn't know about any of this. That's exactly why you need a lawyer. To prove your ignorance and establish your fitness as Tyler's primary guardian. Tyler interrupted the legal discussions. Grandpa, can we have birthday cake now? Despite everything that had happened, I smiled genuinely. Of course, buddy, this is still your special day. We gathered around the kitchen table. Tyler blew out 8 candles while Mrs. Wilson, Dr. Stevens, Detective Martinez, Lieutenant Rodriguez, and David sang happy birthday. Jennifer's plan had been to destroy this exact moment, to create evidence that I was unfit to celebrate Tyler's milestones. Instead, she'd provided proof that she was the danger Tyler needed protection from. While Tyler ate chocolate cake, Detective Martinez received updates via radio. Jennifer Cooper has been booked at Riverside County Jail. She's requesting legal representation and claiming the charges are fabricated. Fabricated how? I asked. She's alleging that you drugged her wine as part of an elaborate conspiracy to discredit her custody case. David laughed bitterly. Even sedated and arrested, she's still lying. Actually, James observed, her defense helps our case. She's admitting that drugging someone's beverage constitutes criminal assault. Lieutenant Rodriguez nodded. Plus, we have video evidence of her placing medication in your wine glass, first. Any pharmaceutical substances in her system are the result of her own criminal actions. The legal consequences were cascading rapidly. Jennifer's Portland job offer would be rescinded when news of her arrest reached her employer. The rental house deposit would be forfeited. Tyler's Oregon school enrollment would be canceled. More importantly, the custody evaluation scheduled for next Friday would be dismissed with prejudice. Marcus, James explained, Jennifer's criminal charges eliminate any possibility of challenging your grandparent access. You'll have court-protected visitation rights that she cannot contest. What about David's custody? David will retain primary custody, but with mandatory family counseling to understand how he missed an 8-month manipulation campaign targeting his own son. David accepted this responsibility soberly. I should have seen the signs. Tyler's behavior changes, Jennifer's stories about Dad. The sleep medication I thought was for normal childhood anxiety. The important thing is Tyler's safety moving forward, I reminded him. That's all Rebecca and I ever wanted. As guests prepared to leave, each offered testimonial support for the legal proceedings ahead. Wilson, I'll testify about Jennifer's false claims regarding Tyler's school behavior and academic performance. Dr. Stevens, my medical records prove Tyler was never anxious about visiting his grandfather. His stress markers consistently improved after spending time here. Lieutenant Rodriguez, the false police reports Jennifer filed establish a clear pattern of fraudulent accusations designed to manipulate official records. Mr. and Mrs. Patterson will testify that her claims about Marcus's nighttime behavior were complete fabrications. By evening, Tyler and David had temporarily moved into my guest rooms, while David searched for housing closer to Tyler's school. Dad, David said as we tucked Tyler into the same bed, where he'd slept peacefully for months, I owe you an apology. For what? For not believing you sooner. For letting Jennifer manipulate me into doubting your relationship with Tyler. David, Jennifer is exceptionally skilled at manipulation. She convinced teachers, doctors, neighbors, and police officers. Don't blame yourself for being deceived by someone who made lying her profession. How long did you know? I suspected after Rebecca's funeral. I had proof after 3 months. I had an airtight criminal case after 6 months. Why didn't you confront her directly? Because confrontation would have driven her underground. She would have modified her tactics, moved her timeline, possibly succeeded in taking Tyler before I could stop her legally. David nodded slowly. So you let her incriminate herself completely. I documented her crimes and let the justice system handle the consequences. That's how police work functions. Jennifer's plan to steal Tyler had resulted in her own imprisonment. Instead of gaining custody, she'd lost all parental access. Instead of discrediting me, she'd exposed her own criminal behavior. Instead of moving to Portland, she'd moved to a jail cell awaiting trial. Justice had been served through patience, preparation, and Jennifer's own arrogance. The quiet power approach had worked perfectly. The legal consequences unfolded with devastating efficiency. Jennifer's arraignment took place Monday morning, 72 hours after her arrest. Judge Patricia Coleman presided over a packed courtroom that included David, myself, Detective Martinez, and several journalists who'd heard about the case. Ms. Jennifer Cooper faces 6 felony charges, Judge Coleman announced: attempted assault with a controlled substance, child endangerment through unauthorized medication, conspiracy to commit elder abuse, filing false police reports, evidence tampering in family court proceedings, witness intimidation. The witness intimidation charge was new, added when prosecutors discovered Jennifer's attempts to coach Tyler into lying about his experiences at my house. Jennifer's court-appointed attorney, Michael Stevens, no relation to our family doctor, requested bail reduction based on her lack of prior criminal history. Your Honor, District Attorney Lisa Torres responded, the defendant had already accepted employment in Oregon, placed deposits on housing, and enrolled the minor child in out-of-state schools. She represents an extreme flight risk. Judge Coleman denied bail entirely. Ms. Cooper will remain in custody pending trial. The systematic nature of these alleged crimes suggests significant danger to the community and the minor child involved. Jennifer would spend the next 8 months in Riverside County Jail awaiting trial. The professional consequences cascaded immediately. Pacific Northwest Creative rescinded their job offer within hours of her arrest, making local news. Their HR director sent a terse email. Due to circumstances beyond our control, we are withdrawing our employment offer effective immediately. Relocation assistance will not be provided. Jennifer's professional reputation in marketing was finished. A Google search of her name returned headlines like California mother arrested for drugging family member and custody fraud scheme exposed at child's birthday party. LinkedIn connections began disappearing. Professional references stopped returning calls. Her portfolio website was deactivated after colleagues posted comments questioning her character and judgment. The financial consequences mounted rapidly. Jennifer's Oregon rental house deposit, $4,800, was forfeited completely when the property management company learned of her arrest. Tyler's private school enrollment fees in Portland, $3,700, were non-refundable. Legal defense costs would eventually exceed $65,000, draining Jennifer's savings and forcing her to accept public defender representation. But I wasn't interested in pursuing civil damages. Tyler's protection and my reputation's restoration were sufficient compensation. The community consequences were perhaps most devastating for Jennifer's local relationships. Mrs. Henderson posted on our neighborhood Facebook group, I am horrified that I spread Jennifer Cooper's lies about Marcus Cooper's supposed mental decline. She manipulated our entire community into believing a decorated police detective was becoming dangerous around children. Other neighbors shared similar retractions. Jennifer had convinced dozens of people over 8 months that I was cognitively declining. Now they understood they'd been weaponized in her custody manipulation scheme. Tyler's school friends' parents learned about the unauthorized medication issue. Several families who'd allowed sleepovers expressed outrage that their children might have been exposed to Jennifer's manipulation tactics. The social isolation was complete. Jennifer had no allies left in Riverside. The family consequences were complex, but ultimately healing. David filed for emergency divorce within 1 week of Jennifer's arrest. I cannot maintain a marriage with someone who would drug my father and lie about my son's well-being, he told his divorce attorney. David also enrolled in court-mandated family counseling to understand how he'd missed an 8-month manipulation campaign targeting his own household. I chose to believe Jennifer's version of events because confronting the possibility that my wife was systematically lying felt impossible, David admitted during our first joint therapy session. Tyler's adjustment surprised everyone with its positivity. Grandpa, Tyler said during our first overnight visit after Jennifer's arrest, Mom always told me I felt scared at your house, but I never actually felt scared. How do you feel here, buddy? Safe, happy, like Grandma Rebecca is still watching over both of us, Dr. Stevens monitored Tyler's emotional recovery carefully. Within 3 weeks, Tyler's stress markers had normalized completely, and he'd stopped having the nightmares Jennifer claimed were caused by visiting me. Children recover remarkably quickly when removed from manipulation environments, Dr. Stevens observed. Tyler's anxiety was entirely artificial, created by his mother's psychological coaching. The long-term consequences became clear during plea negotiations 6 months later. Jennifer's defense attorney approached District Attorney Torres with a plea bargain, guilty plea to 3 reduced charges in exchange for 2 years in county jail and 5 years probation. DA Torres rejected the offer categorically. This wasn't a moment of poor judgment, Torres told the media. This was a sophisticated 8-month conspiracy to manipulate family court proceedings through false evidence, child abuse, and attempted assault on an elderly family member. And all 6 felony charges would proceed to trial. Jennifer faced up to 9 years in state prison if convicted on all counts, plus permanent supervised visitation restrictions with Tyler. 1 year after her arrest, Jennifer remained in county jail. David and Tyler had moved into a new house 3 blocks from Tyler's school. Tyler spent every weekend with me, and his academic performance had improved dramatically. Dad, David told me recently, I never properly thanked you. For what? For protecting Tyler, for protecting our family from someone I brought into our lives. You couldn't have known, David. Jennifer is exceptionally skilled at deception. But you saw through it. 28 years of police work taught me to recognize manipulation, and grief taught me to protect what Rebecca and I loved most. Jennifer's manipulation campaign had backfired so completely that it strengthened our family relationships instead of destroying them. Her attempt to steal Tyler had brought David and Tyler closer to me than they'd been since Rebecca's death. Perfect justice, delivered through patience and preparation. 18 months after Tyler's 8th birthday party, we were building a treehouse in my backyard. Grandpa, can you teach me to use the circular saw? When you're 10, buddy, right now you can measure the boards and mark where we need to cut. Tyler had grown 3 inches and gained confidence that radiated from every interaction. The anxiety symptoms Jennifer had manufactured through medication and psychological manipulation had disappeared completely. The custody evaluation Jennifer had demanded never occurred. The court dismissed her petition after her conviction and granted me enhanced grandparent visitation rights that she cannot contest, even after her release from prison. Tyler spends every weekend with me now, plus Wednesday evening dinners and major holidays. Sometimes David joins us. Sometimes he uses the time for his own healing and his relationship with Amanda, Tyler's former teacher who'd become his girlfriend. Dad, David had told me 6 months earlier, Amanda is nothing like Jennifer. Direct, honest, puts Tyler's needs first in every decision. How does Tyler feel about her? He loves her. She treats him like a real person, not a chess piece. That became our family's new foundational boundary. Absolute honesty in all relationships. No manipulation, no hidden agendas. Tyler's well-being takes precedence over adult convenience or desires. Jennifer pled guilty to 4 felony counts in exchange for 5 years in state prison. She'll serve at least 3 years before parole eligibility. Her visitation rights with Tyler were permanently restricted to 2 hours monthly in a court-supervised facility, and only if Tyler specifically requests contact. Tyler hasn't requested contact yet. When he asks about his mother, I tell him age-appropriate truth. Mom made serious mistakes that hurt people. She has to face consequences for those choices. But you're safe, loved, and surrounded by people who will always protect you. Dr. Stevens confirmed no lasting health effects from the unauthorized medication, but we monitor Tyler's sleep and behavior patterns carefully. He sleeps soundly, wakes up energetic, and shows no signs of the artificial anxiety Jennifer had created. Last month, Tyler wrote a school essay about family heroes. My grandpa Marcus is my hero because he protected me from someone who wanted to hurt our family. He used to be a police detective, and he's really smart. He taught me that good people sometimes have to be brave to stop bad people. Mrs. Wilson called it the finest family essay she'd read in 25 years of teaching. Rebecca would have been proud of both of us. The house feels alive again with Tyler's weekend laughter and our ongoing projects. Jennifer's plan to isolate Tyler from his grandfather had the opposite effect. It brought us closer than we'd ever been. The lesson for anyone facing similar manipulation: document everything, trust your instincts, and never underestimate the power of patient preparation when protecting family. Justice isn't revenge, it's protection delivered through truth. What would you have done in my situation?